Art historians, we are in Module 11, the second half of, and I wanted to have Dolly introduce this lesson because she's named after an artist that you guys are going to learn about. Hey, Dolly, come here. I got treats for you because you're so pretty. Come here, eat the treats. There you go, good girl. Yum, 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 yum. Okay, now that I give you food, can you say hi to all my art history students, please? Oh, oh, maybe not, maybe not. Oh my goodness. Okay, hi, Moonbeam. Anyway, folks, shall we get right into it? Oh, now I'm surrounded by cats. I may have made a wrong move here. So we are now in Module 11, Europe, Modern Europe Part 2 and Part 3, and this is now Modern Europe Part 3, which is 11.04, Dadaism and Surrealism. So that's why I have this little one. Say hi to you. But anyway, so we have 8 core works for this unit and 6 supplemental works. Dadaism is ranging from 1916 to 1942, and Surrealism is from 1924 to 1940s. Now, remember, as I might have said in previous videos, we don't necessarily put these dates into like very, very concrete understandings. They are quite flexible because many artists are utilizing these techniques outside of just these time frames. So, Dadaism is really coming out of Switzerland, while Surrealism is more so in France. And for our Dada arts, we have Hannah Hawk's Cut with the Kitchen Knife Dada. We have Hausmann's Spirit of the Age. Ernst's Two Children Are Threatened by a Nightingale, and Duchamp's The Fountain. And then for Surrealism, we're going to take a look at Man Ray's Gift, Magritte's The Treachery of Images, Dali's Persistence of Memory, and Oppenheim's The Object. For our supplemental works, you have Duchamp's Nude Descending a Staircase and The Bride Stripped Bare by Her Bachelors. We have Piccabia's Ideal, Dali's Metamorphosis of Narcissus, and Giacometti's The Palace at 4 a.m. So I obviously am a pretty big fan of Surrealism, but let's talk about Dadaism first. Ranging from 1916 to 1924. This movement's really originating out of Zurich in Switzerland during World War I as a reaction against the war and against societal norms. It is very, very much rejecting traditional values, even more so than what we saw in Cubism and abstraction. This is like anti-art, basically. It's also rejecting logic, it's rejecting reason, and it's really emphasizing this concept of absurdity, chaos, and like I said, an anti-art. So Dadaists are using nonsensical and provocative forms like performance art, ready-mades, and collages, and they're exploring the randomness and chance in creation and challenging this notion of what we consider high art with everyday objects, like you can see with Duchamp's Fountain. Dadaism is a very deeply critical kind of not deeply critical addressment of societal structures that like kind of led to World War I. And Dadaism, they're advocating for this sense of anarchism and freedom from these rules that they felt very oppressed by within artwork, all while serving as kind of a precursor to later modernist movements, which includes Surrealism, which we'll talk about right now. Speaking of which, so Surrealism is from 1924 to the 1940s, and it's really growing out of Dadaism, but with a little bit more intention and more of a connection to dreams. It was officially established by André Breton and his Surrealist Manifesto, written in 1924, and it was very, very heavily influenced by Sigmund Freud's psychoanalytic theories about the unconscious mind, and it aimed to really merge dreams, imagination, and reality to access this sense of super reality or surreality, which is where we get surrealism from. So surrealists are really focusing on the unconscious, the dreams, and their irrational imagery that don't necessarily fit together. They're using techniques like automatism, which is spontaneous drawing and even writing. They're using a lot of juxtapositions or combining of unrelated elements, and doing so all while including a lot of symbolic and often unsettling imagery that really explores taboo subjects. So surrealists create this style as a reaction against rationalism. They're expanding on what the Dadaists kind of set in motion. And this is because, well, they're blaming the horrors of war, and they want to celebrate the liberation of thought, emotion, and sexuality. And so this movement is expanded even farther into literature, film, and theater, and it really also influences a broader cultural movements that are to come as well. So both Dadaism and Surrealism movements are paired together because they sought to redefine art, and they do so by breaking from conventional norms, and they are also critiquing these social systems as well as war and authority, generally speaking. They are really just movements that affect a lot of different art practices, and it spreads internationally, and very much influence modern art movements in Europe, the Americas, and even beyond. So of course, we've got some really cool works to take a look at here. Definitely enjoy Duchamp's silliness. If you started singing "ma ma 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 ma" in your head when you heard Man Ray, like my brother did, then I'll know you're on that same SpongeBob era. Of course, Salvador Dali is one of my favorites. Please check out the Carpino Corner. There is a Salvador Dali museum in St. Petersburg, Florida, which is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Not only is it a museum dedicated to one of my favorite artists, but it's also a place that I made really amazing memories with my grandma and mom. So you can go ahead and take a picture or take a look at the pictures I included of those. Definitely also take a look at Marette Oppenheim's The Object. My art history students freak out whenever they see this piece. They hate it. It makes them very uncomfy. I have seen it a few times in person. So definitely go ahead and take a look at those, and I'll see you back here for Module 12. Hopefully less cat craziness, and less cat craziness caused by my own self. So until then, bye everybody.